Avengers Endgame.
Wow. First of all, this is a spoiler review.
Spoiler.
If you haven't seen the movie, which I don't know anybody in this world, people probably don't care about. There are people out there that doesn't care about this movie apparently.
First of all, this movie has made
1.2 billion
already
in worldwide. 350 million domestic. That is a record, and I can guarantee you will not see that kind of a movie do that again. I don't know.
Again.
It's crazy.
Not even for Marvel.
No. So spoiler, warn, go.
You've been warned. Okay, so this movie is the sequel to Infinity War.
No, it's not.
Well, it kind of is because it's the bookend to the whole saga and a direct afterwards what is happening to everybody after the snap. So if you haven't seen Infinity War, why are you watching this? Anyway, after Infinity War, that happens, and then you're left with no hope.
No.
And this movie starts out with reminding you how hopeless you felt at the end of Infinity War.
The first 2 hours, the first 2 acts is a little slow because you kind of get a glimpse and a feel of what's going on in the world. It is a chaos. It's crazy. Like you see baseball stadium empty. Like it's crazy.
Statue of Liberty has like boats surrounding it because there's no one there, and it's just sad.
It's sad. It's very and the tone, the way the Russo brother did this movie, it was excellent, and I dig it. Even though a lot of people are complaining that it's a little slow, I think it was fine. Mm-hmm. It had to be that way for it to give you the third act, which we're going to talk about.
Also, if we missed something in this review, go ahead and check out our podcast. We're going to do a full-on podcast about what this is, and we're going to nerd out. And so just go ahead and follow. I'll probably put a description at the bottom of this video for that. Anyway, the first scene, Clint Barton. We didn't see him at all in Infinity War, and it shows him playing with a bow and arrow in front of his family, with his daughter. And all of a sudden he turns around and turns back, and he's like, "Where the heck is everybody?" And then
you see the dust. Did you see the little dust?
You see a little bit, and then that's it. She's gone. He doesn't know what happened. So he goes on this rampage. I would love to just nerd out and talk about every single scene in this movie. But
there's gonna be a movie on Ronan on killing all those people because he apparently, according to what's his name, Rhodey, who's Iron Man's best friend.
Oh, Rhodey.
Rhodey. He said he found a lot of dead bodies. So. Once the movie was finished, no credits scene. The credits rolling. What was your first impression?
It sounds kind of stupid and cliche, but it was definitely bittersweet. That is the definition of bittersweet. I'm so glad that it wrapped up the way it did. This movie as itself is great. The movie itself as a film is good. Now the story arc and story it takes and the adventure it takes you on is like there's really no way to describe it other than bittersweet. All these characters you've seen, especially Iron Man from 10 years, 11 years,
came back around
and just ended.
Ended with him.
It's all gone.
I know this review is kind of going kind of weird because I don't know what to say. It's a
3-hour movie.
3-hour movies. We can only give you what we felt. When the movie ended and I got up, I told my wife, I was like, holy.
I got a text from him.
Yeah.
All it said was holy shit. And I'm like, don't.
Everything that we watched, the investment of the 21 films, and this is the 22nd, that we watched, this movie pays off like enormously because you get the sense of what these characters and the ending of what these characters are going to be. Who do you think was going to die? I knew Iron Man was going to die. I thought Cap was going to die too.
I thought Cap was going to die.
But
I knew Iron Man was going to die mostly because of their contracts.
Yeah.
They're up. So logistically speaking, I was just like, yeah, they're going to die. Something's going to happen to their characters.
Yeah.
And I feel the way Iron Man went out, perfect. It was very sad, but very just fulfilling.
If you didn't cry, Oh man, I don't know what else. I don't know.
You didn't cry. You've just started watching Marvel movies.
Yeah, because I bawled like crazy, man. It was sad, and especially when you had Pepper, what's her name there, like telling him you could rest. It's okay. You can rest. That part broke my heart. I was like, no. I was just crying, and so
Old Man Cap as well.
That was all this in the comics, even the fat Thor.
I don't know about that.
Okay, was there anything that you didn't like about this movie?
I've always been a fan of strong, hardcore Thor, like in Infinity War. I liked him in that, and I didn't like him in Ragnarok. So, like, has nothing to do with the time. It has everything to do with the director and the writer. So in this one, he was kind of a Ragnarok, fat Ragnarok.
It's Jeff Bridges from...
He's the Big Lebowski, the dude.
Yeah.
Know what I thought about? Probably. I'll mention that in the podcast.
Okay. I disagree with you. I thought, the funny thing is, when I first came out of the movie, I was like, man, I didn't like the way they portray Thor.
Yeah.
But I sat back and I let the movie marinate, and I was like, I actually liked it even more now because of what his character was, how his character is, and everybody in this movie, at least the 5 original Avengers, their character development in this movie was even more developed. Even though we had all these 20-some movies before to develop their character, but they're in a different stage of their life at this moment, in mourning and trying to figure out how to do this, how to bring people back. And there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of like it's on me because I couldn't get it done type of thing. So I can understand why Thor became it's what do they call this when something bad happened, you find something else to substitute for that bad event happening. Yeah. And I think that's what he did by drinking and playing
Addiction 101
Fortnite. And so I get his arc, and I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny to see him fat. So
yeah, it was. Oh, can we also mention, if you've listened to the podcast where we were doing like fan theories and stuff, I was totally right. Time travel.
Yeah, time travel.
This is like Ant-Man described it best.
It's not that hard.
Ant-Man described it best. It is time travel. A time heist movie, which is so good. I love time travel movies. I love Frequency. I love Back to the Future. Yeah. I love what other movies that I can't come to mind. Die Hard.
Die Hard. Now let's talk about.
That's a joke if you haven't seen the movie.
Let's talk about something you didn't like about this. Is there anything that didn't speak
honestly,
to you?
There was so much fan service in this movie that I cannot think of anything I didn't like, minus Fat Thor.
No, I don't like that. The only thing I had a problem with this movie was the time traveling.
Really?
Yeah, not because I thought it was cool. I thought that one seems like we've all been around the stones at one time or another. And right there when he said that, I was like, oh, they're gonna go back to all those events. And I thought that was cool. I thought the way they did it was gonna be awesome. But the thing is, the rule of time traveling is so confusing that
there are different rules.
Yeah, there were certain things in there that were like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Why? What? So, even though they didn't set up the rules of time traveling, although I don't know if there is such thing as rules, because
you're trying to look at logistics.
I know
in time travel.
I didn't want. Okay, there was a scene in there when Robert Downey Jr. was sitting there, and all of a sudden he analyzed time travel and gets it one time. Right? It's like it's like, oh, well, that's kind of lazy writing. You can put in there like maybe he failed a couple times or failed like trying, but they're just like, okay, but he can figure out. Let him do it. It's like, okay, figure out. I'm like, at least let him fail a couple of times before you give him the solution and so. But the only reason why I did this because I talked to Paul about this. Nebula.
That's the one thing I can't explain.
The past Nebula came to the future. I mean, the time travel was you're not supposed to meet one another or else bad things happen. But she kills herself from the past.
From the past. That's the key part.
So shouldn't the future Nebula be dead or doesn't exist? Because it doesn't matter what timeline it is. They're in the same timeline. They exist together. So therefore, if the one in the past die, the one in the future can't exist. So that's the one I'm like, oh, what?
So the Supreme One, Doctor Strange's mentor, explained it as if there's just branches. It's kind of like, if you've seen The Flash, the CW Flash series, it's kind of like that. It doesn't affect the future as much as branches off, and that's its own reality now. Now, based on that logic, the whole Nebula thing also doesn't make sense because there can't be another branch
within that branch.
In the branch.
Yeah. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's the only
my only issue as well.
So let's talk about favorite scene, because this movie is epic.
100% we are going to have the same favorite scene. Let's just see it at the same time.
Let's talk about the third act, and that third act was incredible. And like once they came back and they did the snap and everybody came back, that's when like the battle with Thanos and his army. Oh, it was insane. Like, it's crazy. I'll go first. My favorite scene, because I know I'm probably going to have the same one. I have a couple, but
so you just want to say it.
Yeah, I want to say it. My favorite scene is when Captain America holds the hammer.
Mjolnir.
Yes.
He gets it.
And it was such a nod to the second Avengers Age of Ultron when he was trying to pick that up, and he moved it a little bit. Remember that one scene? Mm-hmm. So this one, when Thor was about to get his friggin' chest slashed open, the hammer came and just went flying at Thanos, and I'm like, who is that? And then when Cap pulls it back, goes back to Cap, I was like, everybody in the theater screamed. I was so...
Tears.
Oh my gosh, it was epic, and I love that scene.
Like, this movie does a lot of fan service. Like,
oh my gosh.
If you haven't watched any of the movies before and you haven't, like, really been a fan, you're not going to see every little thing. No. I feel like I saw most of everything. I don't think there was anything I missed.
No.
But that one little thing was definitely a good payoff.
That is, by far, that is my favorite scene out of all the Marvel's MCU movies. Mm-hmm. Best scene ever, right there, in my opinion. You have one?
I do like right before that, the wide shot of... Oh no, it's after that.
It's after that.
So I do like one scene after, when he wields Mjolnir and he's fighting Thanos, he's kicking his butt, and then he starts to get his butt kicked. I'm like, is Cap gonna die right now? And there's a wide shot of Thanos and his entire army, whatever, behind him, and just Cap standing there. And he straps up. He's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's that wide shot of him just by himself. Oh. That was one of my favorite scenes. One of my many favorite scenes.
And then you see the sparkliness with Doctor Strange, and he gets everybody to come back. And, you know, a little bit... sorry. A part of me kind of thought that, like, when they were coming at each other, like, the two armies, that the movie was going to end right there.
Oh my God.
And I was like, they better not, or else that's so gay. But it didn't happen. There was another hour after that.
Oh my God.
It's so good. So good.
And the fight scenes... The fight choreographic is amazing. This one, especially when the scene when Cap, wield the hammer, fights Thanos. That fight scene was awesome, and so this movie was getting really long.
It was a long one. Like I said, check out the podcast if you think we didn't mention anything we should have. Anything else you did not like or?
Oh my! I love how Tony talked to the dad. I love. His dad, I love Thor talking to his mom. I thought those two were one of the best cameo.
There was a lot of loose ends tied up.
Yeah, Black Widow dying. I thought that was a shocker. That was so. I even cried. I thought Hawkeye was gonna die because that phrase, whatever it takes. So I thought maybe he was gonna do whatever it takes to bring his family back, even by sacrificing himself.
Kind of made sense that Black Widow sacrificed herself too, because you see her during this whole process of grieving and trying to... She's like, this is my job. I have nothing else to do.
And especially the conversation with when she was crying and Cap came in the beginning, and that conversation with him, I'm like, oh, maybe she is going to die. But at the same time, I
didn't think so.
I was like...
Did not think so.
And then I was like, no, it can't be her because of the streaming service. she has a movie coming out. But then I guess they prequel. So so that was sad and shocking. I really thought Hawkeye was going to go there. And so other than that, there's so much, and I can't. There's not enough time for us to review this on the video. But check our podcast. We'll talk about it more in depth. And
all right, let's give it a rating. Go
really, for it. It's opening night. That's why I think we're going to do opening night. But I'm going to give a number. In our podcast, not here, but opening night for sure.
Opening night for sure.
Go check it out.
And I'll buy it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Go check it out, guys. I mean, most of you probably seen it twice. I'm going to go see it again this week, I'm sure. We can go together because I don't know if the girl's going to go. But
actually, no. Brandon and Kelly both want to go see it again.
Oh,
like, they are definitely down to see this movie again.
So
a 3-hour movie. I feel like that was my whole Saturday.
Oh, man. We're going tomorrow. We're going to try to go tomorrow. We'll see. All right.
Kelly, do you want to add anything?
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
100 left.
100 left. That was cool.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Nerd.